Today we will be creating Galaxy Goals chalk art, and once we have gathered our supplies, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our stars. These are going to be shooting stars. You can either trace your stars or you can freehand them, or we might even have some friends that already have a star from our meet and greet. Either way, we are going to go ahead and prepare these stars on a scrap piece of paper. Now I'm tracing a few different sizes. I have 3 different sizes, and I've also cut my paper in half. What this allows is for me to trace these 3 sizes, but then when I cut them out, I'm also going to have 2 of each. Now it's nice to have more than one star just because it's going to allow us to kind of fill the space a little bit better. There's no set number of stars that you can use. You can use as little or as many as you'd like, but I will have 6 that I can arrange. I can use less than that if I end up using less than that, but that's going to give me a good number and a good variety in sizes. So go ahead if you have not already, and please either trace or draw out your stars on your scrap paper and go ahead and cut them out. Now all of your stars, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare a goal for the school year. You can either write out a goal or you can draw a goal, but either way I want to encourage you to maybe practice or plan first before you move to writing or drawing out your goal in your stars. Once you get to the point where you write or draw out your goal in your stars, you want to make sure you use a pen or markers. Just don't use the chalk for this one. So some examples of different goals that you can write specific to the school year can be things like I will shine like a star by logging in by a certain time each school day. I will take my time completing my assignments and put forth my best effort. Or you can be specific to some of your needs or things maybe you struggled with last year that you want to improve this year. And some specific goals are I will read 20 minutes each day and finish 3 new books each month, or I will learn all my multiplication factors up to 12 by the end of the school year. So everyone's going to have an individual goal for themselves that they either write or draw. The goal I have written out, my students will not have that same goal, but what my goal reads is I will help young artists shine like stars by sharing out of this world art lessons, blasting off to create a space where students can explore, connect, and have fun. or our sidewalk chalk, whichever one we have. And we're going to use this on our black paper, so make sure you clear out your stars. We're going to use this to kind of create a galaxy effect, so we're going to be blending. You can use a Q-tip or paper towel. I really just end up just using my finger. This is messy, so be aware that you do want to make sure you protect the table while doing this portion. But I'm going to grab my chalk, and I have similar colors. If you notice, I have blues, pinks, and purples that I'm going to be kind of using in the background of the galaxy. So whatever colors you pick is up to you, but I would maybe stick to like 2 or 3 kind of similar colors. But I'm using the side of my chalk pastel, and I am kind of just moving it in sections, and I'm just kind of rubbing it against the side. Now I'm going to grab a similar color. This is a blue. I'm not coloring directly over the blue that I've already used, but I'm going to continue to use the side and put down kind of a fluid flowing section of these colors. I am going to leave some black space. It's important to leave a little bit of black space, but once again, I can just switch colors and then just put them down in small little sections, kind of side by side. Once I have gone over this background a good bit, I'm then going to take my paper towel or my Q-tip, and I'm going to blend the sections. When I blend one section to another, you will see me kind of blend them together a little bit, but I go in kind of a circular motion, and I try to stick to section by section a little bit. I don't want to take my finger, my Q-tip, or my paper towel and just smear everywhere, all over everything. We want them to fade some into each other, but we don't want to blend it down into just one color. We want these sections to kind of still be distinguished a little bit. So you can see here I'm starting to blend down with the side of the Q-tip into circular motions. You can see where I go into the other colors a bit. But notice I kind of stuck to the pink section, and then I moved on to another color. And you can also see where I show you it goes much faster if you blend with your finger, but that's completely up to you if you really don't want your hand to get that dirty. It just takes a little bit longer. But I'm just going to continue to blend until I've blended all of these sections down a bit. And then I'll just kind of take a look and see maybe if there's an area that needs a little bit more. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I go in with the white chalk, and that's going to give me a little bit of spots that are kind of brightened up. As you transition from the chalk, we're going to grab our white paint and our toothbrush. The toothbrush will be much more efficient if the bristles are really stiff and hard, but I know a lot of us have softer toothbrushes, so whatever toothbrush you can use that, even if it's old, because you don't want to use this again after this project, you want to go ahead and grab that and your paint, and we're going to hop into the fun part. We're going to dip the bristles into the white paint. We're going to tap through the bristles at an angle. You'll see my thumb kind of glide back and forth as I angle it down towards the paper. Remember, if the bristles are soft, it's a little bit more challenging to get the splatter just right, but notice it's side to side brush really close down towards the paper. Don't panic if you get like a bigger drip. You'll just know that you need to maybe put just a little bit less on your brush. Your hands will get messy for this, and it is okay if you maybe make a small mistake. You might be able to fix it later, but either way, it's supposed to be a little bit messy. These are supposed to just be like stars, so it's okay. Kind of wipe off a big spot. And then you can use the side of the chalk to kind of go back in and cover over where maybe it was a bit too big of a blob. I layer my chalk just a little bit, and it gets to the point where you can't really even hardly tell there was a mistake. And then I kind of go back over it just a tiny bit with the splatter paint once again to kind of cover over that chalk spot. Now we're going to take our stars, and on the back we're going to add a little bit of glue, not too much, and then we're going to carefully start to arrange it onto our paper. You want to be sure before you glue it down that it's in the spots that you would like it. So be sure as you add your stars, if you have multiple, that you're putting a little bit of space between them, and you're kind of mapping or laying out where they would be placed well to kind of fill up the page. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to use some of our chalk to add kind of like a halo and make it appear as if it's kind of shooting. So I'm going to use kind of whites and yellows. If you want to use a different color, you can, depending on what color your star is. You can adjust it a bit. But I feel like the yellow is going to kind of give you that shooting star effect. So what I've done with the chalk is I use the top and I just kind of made kind of an outline or halo around the star, and I blended it in, and then I start to use the top and the sides to make it appear as if it's shooting from a specific direction. So it looks like it's coming from the right side of my paper, shooting towards the left side of my paper, and I'm going to kind of keep that same appearance or effect for all of my stars. So I'm going to do that to each of them. I'm going to outline them, and then I'm going to use these kind of lines with the yellows and whites to make it appear as if it is shooting across the page. All done, friends, and I can't wait until I get to see yours.